once the summer's concluded and you've taken care of yourself mentally and physically and gotten yourself prepared for what's to come, um, the next thing I want to kind of talk about a little bit is when we do finally return to school, whether that's in September or some other time. We have to be prepared because this is going to be really stressful and anxiety inducing, not only for ourselves, but for our students as well. And they're going to be dealing with so many different emotions, and we have to have a plan ready in place for that. Having a plan for how to handle classroom management as we normally would, and then also know what resources that we are going to have available to us. We have a wonderful guidance counselor and a wonderful guidance counseling team in Little Falls, and we also have the luxury of having a school psychologist in our district. And so we have to, in Little Falls, be prepared to utilize their services more likely than a normal school year. And they're going to be swamped with a lot of students and staff members that are going to be just dealing with a lot of different things, from loss of loved ones and grieving to just coming back to school and the anxiety that that can just produce in and of itself. It's going to take time for many people to kind of adjust back to the way that things used to be, and it might be completely different. We have to be willing to adapt to that and be willing to kind of persevere through all of this. And that's why I wrote those three terms down. And the perseverance just doesn't come to us as educators, but also our students need to also be better at persevering. And I'm just thinking with a math brain, a lot of my students, they just give up very easily on a problem and they want the answer. And that's something that they've learned. They grew up with it, having Google and instant gratification. So the ability to persevere and work through is going to be tremendously important, especially when we return back to school. And that doesn't just involve classroom perseverance. We're talking about life perseverance and going through what we went through and then battling our way back. The last thing here is curbing our expectations for our students and for ourselves. And this is going to be unusual for us. We've never had students coming in after a 4, 5, 6 month long break, however long it's going to be, instead of just our normal 2.5 month break. So we have to really be prepared for students at different places, academically, socially, mentally, in addition to all the time that's lost. And we're going to have students that are going to be well behind where we were last year and what we're normally used to seeing in September. So we have to really be patient and expect our results to be a little bit different or a lot of bit different, and have those expectations kind of quelled for the time being, because it's not just a school problem, it's not just a district issue, it's a nationwide thing. And as a nation, we're going to have to curb our expectations with our education and whatnot. Finally, I want to talk about continuing our online resources, even if we are back in school and social distancing is over, the coronavirus is eradicated, hooray. I still highly recommend that you continue utilizing these online resources. These are tools to add to your toolbox and make you a completely more dynamic teacher now because you have experienced it. So there's a silver line to come from this. So embrace that change, embrace the innovation that you have now at your disposal. I talked a little bit earlier, I teach a hybrid class. I've been doing this for a couple years now. My students have been doing their homework online and having online assessments for a few years now, and that's something that you now are completely capable of doing. Flipping the classroom is another great tool that some of us have utilized over the past couple months thanks to the remote classrooms and remote learning, and that is where you record yourself and then your students could watch you teach that lesson at a different time, usually later at night for homework, and then the next day they come in and work on the problems with your assistants. And that's going to help break it up into small group instruction, individualized, custom-tailored instruction, and that's going to really help you become a much more effective teacher by teaching in smaller groups. We have online assessments. When I get into the online resources below, I'm going to talk a little bit about online assessments, but it's a great tool for you. It's a great tool for the students. Online homework, so this way that you're spending less time grading and more time teaching and educating and working with the students on a more small scale level. So I remember the days of going over homework for the first 20 minutes in class are over. You're opening up more time for instruction, more time for student connection. And last would be digital tools that you've learned and digital resources that you've learned along the way. Put these things in your teaching toolbox and call upon them when you need them. Don't just, because we're back in school, don't just say, okay, well, I'm never going to have to do that again. Use it to your advantage. It's going to make you a much more effective teacher, a much more dynamic teacher, and have students familiar with online resources and these online norms just in case. You don't know. We could be back in September and then have to go back to remote teaching in November. We don't know what's going to happen. But just if you're establishing these online practices early in the school year, it should be a much smoother transition than we saw in March. The last final thing I'm going to put up here is some free digital resources. This is the stuff that I use consistently, the stuff that I find to be successful for my situation. And everyone is going to be in a completely different situation. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is what you should use. It's all dependent on you. But I use Google Classroom. That's my home page. That's my one-stop shop. All my students know at a certain time to log in, go to Google Classroom and see what I posted for the day. And I give them, a nice message. I'll tell them what the day's activities are or assignments, and that's where they turn in their work. So they know that Google Classroom is something that is going to be their one-stop shop, and from there I can hit them with other educational resources like Khan Academy, which is a wonderful, wonderful website, especially for math. Every single math topic has videos to accompany, plenty of examples. If a student gets stuck, it has hints that break it down step by step. And like I said, it's got video, so students could pause, they could rewind, they could rewatch. It's an excellent tool. It's completely free. That is in their mission statement. And just recently, they've added other subjects. So you have science and social studies, and I believe they just added a beta version of English language arts. And I can only speak really for the math portion, but it has math from your very, very basic kindergarten math and counting math all the way up to advanced statistics and college level math. SAT resources, it's a phenomenal resource. And if you've never heard of it, please go to it immediately and find something that's interesting for you. Third, we have edulastic.com. It's a fantastic tool for assessments and online assessments. Engage NY, New Jersey Center for Teaching and Learning, they all post a lot of different questions on there and put it in their question bank, and you can just grab right from them. You can also see other questions that other educators have posted on Edulastic. You could also create your own questions. And something I like about it a lot is that it emulates a little bit of the NJSLA in terms of the test format and what it looks like and the tools and the dragging and all that kind of stuff. And it also can grade it in real time, and you can go in and edit it. It's, again, efficient way for you to grade your work, so less time is spent for you working on grading and more time is spent on you helping your students and become more dynamic and become more efficient with your instruction. And the last one here is Flipgrid. It's kind of like a social media, but it's like a private social media where you could post a discussion and then your students can respond using short videos. I know my students are really big into TikTok right now. It's the latest fad. And so it's kind of a way for you to promote whatever assignment is that you're doing in a way that students are going to be familiar utilizing, which is short, quick videos, great for like a language arts class. We're using it with our 8th grade students right now to create some 8th grade memories before their graduation. It's another fantastic resource if you've never heard of it. So these are just 4 things that I use. I'm sure you've gotten plenty of other resources throughout the last couple of weeks. I didn't want to bombard you with even more. I just wanted to give you kind of like an uplifting message that whatever you're doing, keep up the great work. You're being asked to do things that you never thought in all years of teaching you'd have to. And when you look back on it, you'll really say, wow, I can't believe I did that. Just keep persevering. Take care of yourself physically. Take care of yourself mentally. Prepare for the unexpected if you can in a way. Really this summer, take care of yourself. And then when we finally do get back, also, know those resources that are available, because it's not going to be easy. But now you're much more of a dynamic teacher now that you have all these wonderful resources at your disposal. Don't forget how to utilize the online tools. And best of luck to you. Really, it's amazing what we as educators have done over the past couple of weeks and months, and it really hopefully does not go unnoticed. So congratulations so far on surviving this long, and we're going to get through this. Good luck.